Hey film friends! Today we're back with another episode and it involves a digital camera. Not too long ago, the Fujifilm XT3 was released and with it came film simulations, basically picture profiles developed to match the films they manufactured. They specifically emulated the Acros black and white, Provia and Velvia color positive films. I decided to test each of them, and in this episode we're gonna be testing the Acros film using the Nikon N105 lens. For today's shoot, I enlisted the help of Joel, also known as Toot-a-Loot on Instagram, who's currently blogging regularly.
It's not really a blog, it's just my website.
It's still a vlog.
But it's not, there's no like name. There's no name for it.
Okay, go check out his vlog. His blog.
On Instagram.
We set the Acros film according to its box speed or ISO, which is 100, and to make the rest as accurate as we could, we set the ISO on the XT3 to 120, the closest to 100. Throughout the shoot, we also tried our best to stick to the same or similar settings on both cameras for both the aperture and the shutter speed. No post-production other than sharpening was done for any of the photos. The first thing I noticed is that most of the photos look slightly underexposed on digital as compared to the film ones. This didn't come as a complete surprise as the XT3 uses a crop sensor which is smaller than the 35mm film that would be the equivalent of a full-frame digital camera sensor. Moreover, I will not rule out on the film being more sensitive than the sensor on the XT3. If you look closely at the photos, you'd also notice that the digital photos have blacker blacks. The film photos' blacks look slightly grey, and this might be another contributing factor to the digital photos looking underexposed. You can especially tell in the low light shots where a larger percentage of the photo is black. For this particular portrait shot, I much prefer the lighting captured on film as I find that the lower dynamic range film with a larger contrast shows more character in such a photo than the digital photos that have lower contrast and more details. Full disclosure, the films were scanned by us on our CanoScan 9000F Mark II, which isn't the best in terms of sharpness. I also did some post-sharpening of the photos. Some photos may be out of focus, but that isn't the point of this video. As you can probably tell, I'm focusing more on the look of the film versus digital and mostly be comparing the shadows in highlights, seeing as this is a black and white film. A number of shots such as the one just now of the man staring out of his window, this one coming up next of the couple walking down the road as well as the buildings shows very little difference between the two photos. I could hardly tell them apart, which is amazing. I believe it shows that in outdoor brightly lit conditions, the film simulation does look very close to the actual film. It's when lighting is uneven or when there's low light that you could tell the difference. This particular photo is an outlier for that theory and might just be the settings of the cameras. So if you look at the next photo with the union tables, though the composition of the two photos are different, the shadows and highlights hit similar points across and they have the same gradient effect. The next shot with the family we met on the street gives some hint to the dynamic range of the film versus digital. You can see here that though there are brighter highlights which still retains details on the digital photo, the shadows look as dark as the film photo, and this will be more obvious in the low light shots later. The next couple of photos need not much commentary, they all look really similar to each other. If you feel otherwise, please let us know in the comments below. After all, this is just our opinion and we'd also love to hear yours. As mentioned previously, in the low light shots, you can see the difference in dynamic range between the film and digital photos. I'm aware that there is a chance of reciprocity failure, but the Acros film is well known to only require exposure compensation for exposures above 2 minutes, and this is non-expired film, so I'm gonna rule that out for now. In that case, it leaves the only explanation in my head right now, which is the dynamic range. Overall, I'd say that Fujifilm did get it very close to the actual Acros film look, and I'm rather impressed by this. I wasn't able to compare the simulation with the filters on film as I currently don't own any of those filters. Would like to hear your opinions of that if you guys have tried it. With that said, I think even though Fujifilm did a great job on this, digital can never fully replace film. While they can replicate the Acros film, it will never be able to replicate the process of shooting it with the film camera, carefully adjusting the focus to make sure it isn't shot in vain, and then anticipating the results after you've sent it to the lab. And it's sad to say that the Acros film has been discontinued by Fujifilm. So for any black and white shooters out there, please suggest some similar films in the comments and I'd love to know them. So this video is quite different from what we usually do, but we really enjoyed making this. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching it, and as usual, we welcome any comments or different opinions in the description. Guess what we are doing today?
Eh, haven't started yet lah. Playing Pokemon Go.
What the hell?
I film friends. Hi. Should I do it the Sterling style?
What's the Sterling style?
Hammer
Don't
it.
lah. He's so angry one. He trying to be Casey Neistat.
The camera, the film. Hey, did you?
Look who joined us today.
You know why Sterling like boom?
It's coming to the end of 2018 and it's been a great year of film shooting for us. We hope to bring you better content next year in 2019, so let us know in the comments below on what you'd like to see. And till the next video, bye.